And then there were eight. 8 teams, 1 championship, meaning October is back and playoff baseball has returned. Matt and Mika here on the 411 to break down every single matchup, every single game. Keep it tuned. It's going to be exciting to watch. Let's go.
This is the 411 with your host, Matt and Mika.
What a statement by the Baltimore Orioles in Game 1 against the Detroit Tigers in the ALDS, winning 12-3. Matt and Mika here on the 411 to break down that game and to preview today's game in Game 2. But going back to Game 1, what a dominating performance, what a statement by the Orioles. Now, Max Scherzer, he pitched well. He's one of the best pitchers in the game. He kept the Tigers until the 8th inning when he was taken out. But here's my concern for the Tigers. Their back end, their bullpen, they're struggling. Joe Nathan, Jabba Chamberlain and company, they struggled to find the zone. And when they did find the zone, they left it flat, and this offense made them pay, especially with Nelson Cruz. He proved why he was an AL MVP candidate for the entire year, and he just unloaded on these pitchers. And the rest of the 1 through 9 hitters, they just bombarded these guys, and they made a statement last night in that victory. Now, moving forward, it's not going to get any easier for the Orioles. They're facing Justin Verlander, Cy Young winner, MVP, one of the best pitchers in the game. Granted, Verlander didn't have a typical Verlander year this year, going 15-12 with a 4.54 ERA, but Verlander is dominant in the postseason, especially in the ALDS. He's 4-0 in 7 outings with a 1.79 ERA, so it's not going to get any easier for the Orioles. But here's the thing that I like about the Orioles. Buck Showalter has that team believing. They don't have a typical starting rotation like the Cardinals, the Dodgers, the Nationals, but they don't really care. Their offense, they're surging. They're playing with a lot of confidence, and their starting pitchers, they're just getting the job done. They're keeping the game close, and that offense will just take over. Their first AL East title in 17 years, and the Camden Yards was rocking last night, and it's very impressive to watch. I predict this series to go 5 games, so it's going to be fun to watch going forward. The Royals took Game 1 last night against the Angels, winning 3-2 in 11 innings, and made a statement to the Angels saying, hey, we're ready to roll. We're going to be competing in this series from the first inning to the last inning, every single game. And they made a statement last night with that win. They have a lot of confidence right now, especially from that wild card game against the A's. And they're playing with a lot of confidence, like I mentioned. And here's the biggest thing that I saw in that game was they held the big 3 for the Angels with 0 hits. Mike Trout, 0-for-4. Albert Pujols, 0-for-4. Josh Hamilton, 0-for-5. That's huge. If they can keep the big 3 to a minimum, and then they can just wreak havoc on the bases, they will be just fine in this series. And I predict this series to go 5 games if they do that. They're not going to outslug the Angels by any stretch of the means. You know that big 3, they're going to get their hits eventually, but they have to minimize against this Angels offense because they'll do a lot of damage. They proved that during the season because they have the best record in all Major League Baseball. Now moving forward in Game 2, Matt Shoemaker, he is very effective with the splitter down in the zone. And the Royals, they struggled against those pitches all year long. They have one of the worst batting averages against splitter-type pitches for the entire year. So watch Shoemaker to throw that splitter, throw the off-speed down in the zone, get them to the chase, especially outside part of the plate. So it's going to be very exciting in Game 2 tonight. And moving forward, I predict this series to go 5 games. Experience versus young and talented. That's what this series is going to be about between the San Francisco Giants and the Washington Nationals. San Francisco, they've been there before. They have a lot of depth. They have a lot of experience. They've been there before, winning 2 World Series championships in the past couple of years. Buster Posey, MVP candidate. Madison Bumgarner, phenomenal pitcher. The ace of the staff for sure. They've been there before. But Washington Nationals, they're one of the best teams in all of Major League Baseball. They have all the talent. They're built right now to win this year. Bryce Harper, Zimmerman, Strasburg in the rotation. They have a lot of talent, and they're very young. And they have all the confidence in the world winning that NL East crown this year. And my prediction is the Nationals in this series. It's either going to go 4 or 5 games, but it's going to be very tight. But I predict the Nationals to take this series. Here's the key, though. Steven Strasburg, he has to show up in Game 1 and set the tone. I think that Strasburg wants to be the guy. He wants to dominate. He wants to be that great postseason pitcher. And it starts tonight. He makes his debut in the postseason. He had a pretty good year against the Giants, 3-0. But granted, his last start against the Giants wasn't that good. Gave up a lot of hits, gave up a lot of runs. but he's very effective against the Giants overall. Now, granted, he didn't have the best year in his career this season. He was 14-11 with a 3.14 ERA. So I suspect Strasburg to make a statement in this game, and I predict the Nationals to take this game, 5-2 game, 5-3 game of that sort, and then eventually take the series. What do the St. Louis Cardinals need to do against Clayton Kershaw and the Dodgers tonight in Game 1? There's not a whole lot you can do. The keys to the game for the St. Louis Cardinals, they have to get on Kershaw early. They have to put up hits. They have to manufacture runs early in the game and put the pressure on him in the first inning, in the second inning, and at the latest, the third inning, because as soon as Kershaw gets on a roll, he will steamroll through any opponent. He's on a different planet right now. But like he said in a press conference earlier, it's not about what he did in the regular season. It's about the postseason now. And I think revenge factor is going to be a huge difference in this game because Clayton Kershaw, he remembers what happened last year. He remembers the postseason last year. All the hype, all that build-up surrounding that team, and to lay that egg against the Cardinals. He remembers that stepping off that mound at Busch Stadium with the Cardinals going nuts, eventually the Cardinals going to the World Series, eventually losing to the Boston Red Sox last year. But he remembers that sick feeling in his stomach. He remembers that, and it's going to play a huge role in this game. Right now, like I said, he's on a different planet, and the Cardinals have to put up runs early in the game. The plus side is, for the Cardinals, Clayton Kershaw, if he has 5 days or more of rest, he pitches worse than he does with 5 days or fewer rest. Right now, he's on 8 days rest, and if it's 5 days or more, he has an ERA of 7.47 and a record of 1-2. If it's 5 days or less, he has an ERA of 0.96. So he's very effective when he comes off just a start. He comes off with less days of rest. So that's a positive for the Cardinals. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be too much Kershaw. Like I said, he is just dominant, and that's why he's a consideration for an MVP award, especially, no question, a Cy Young Award winner this year. He is on a different planet, different universe, and I think the Dodgers will take this game in Game 1.